We are back, friends. It is 8:23, and because it is Sunday, it is almost time for Meet the Press right here on NBC in Colorado. Ahead of the show this morning, we have NBC's Chuck Todd back with us live to answer a couple of those questions for us. Chuck, good morning as always. Thanks for giving us some time of your day. I'm just going to dive right into this first question, given the fact that it's been a very tough week for us here in Colorado, another mass shooting in our state. Yep. You're in touch with a lot of federal lawmakers, and so I just want to ask, starting off, what's being discussed about gun safety legislation right now?
The most realistic is essentially a version of the same bill that has been circulating around Washington for the last decade since the gruesome attack on 20 first graders in in Connecticut back in 2013. And that is what we refer to in Washington as Mention to Me. But it's basically the background check bill that would close the so-called gun show loophole, try to expand the places where a background check is conducted. And that very incremental piece of legislation, we're not even talking about assault weapons ban and stuff like that. That has obviously had difficulties getting through. This is not one of those filibuster arguments. At least that's not the conversation we seem to have today. It seemed to be about finding the 10 Republicans. You will hear from the two senators I have on, Chris Murphy, a Democrat from Connecticut, and Pat Toomey, the Toomey part of Mention to Me. You can hear where there's compromise. So, okay, we'll see. We've been down this road before. Maybe the 10 Republicans are there. Maybe the threat of the filibuster being destroyed convinces some Republicans to get on board. We'll see. The politics have shifted on this. We have seen politicians in your state there, Jordan, in Colorado, now lose on these issues, where before wasn't necessarily an issue you would lose on in a state like Colorado. So the politics have shifted, but the elected officials haven't shifted with it just yet.
Certainly, yeah, we know that Republican support is going to be necessary for this. Now, a lot of people are still waiting on some sort of action. We've been hearing from people all week long that they've been waiting on this, honestly, since back in when Columbine happened. Do you think this is going to be the time that really spurs any actual change that these people have been waiting for? And what might that look like?
Look, there's this saying when it comes to the gun legislation, if 20 dead first graders didn't change the politics, what is going to? So and none of us want to imagine how much more gruesome does it have to get than that before sort of the people get this issue out of their red-blue prisms. So, I think that's still I think we're still looking here at very minimal things with background checks, because here's your other impediment. There's a lot of people that would like to see more regulation on assault weapons and other things like that. But the courts and this sort of, frankly, what some would argue is a radical interpretation of the Second Amendment that has taken hold among more conservative members of the judiciary, it's pretty hard to enact legislation on guns that has anything to do with the firearm itself. So I think that's also a challenge here that has to be dealt with.
Certainly. All right, Chuck, thank you so much for taking some time this morning to answer a few of those questions. We know this is a bigger conversation you're going to be having on the show this morning. So again, thank you so much. And as always, you can catch Meet the Press every Sunday morning on Channel 9 right after us here at 9 o'clock.